Beneath the ocean waves lies a history darker than we ever imagined. Stories so eerie they defy explanation. Despite decades of searching, we still don't know the full truth. The deeper you go, the weirder it gets. From missing submarines to objects no one can identify, these sea mysteries will leave you rattled. Back in the 1960s, while researchers were aboard the deep-sea submersible Alvin, they didn't expect to see anything that looked like a prehistoric monster. But one observer claimed to spot a long, serpentine creature moving through the water, a shape that seemed too long and fluid to be just a fish. This creature with fins, a snake-like body, and a head that resembled a plesiosaur glided silently past the sub. There was no sonar alert or any proof to follow up on, just that creepy moment. While the scientific crowd brushed it off, the rumors didn't fully die down. Could Alvin have come across something from the past? Or are there still mysteries lurking in the deep that we can't explain? While patrolling near Iceland in March 1971, the USS Stein surfaced and came across something that left everyone on board baffled. Hovering above the icy waters were several cigar-shaped crafts, silent, metallic, and moving in ways that no plane we know of could. The photos that supposedly came from this top-secret mission show these objects in all sorts of positions. Some were just still, others flying around, and one even caught in the middle of an explosion. The shapes were pretty weird too. Long, cylindrical, with rounded edges, strange dome-like tops, and no visible engines or anything. After seeing this, people tried to reach out to the officials, and here things take a weird turn. There was never an official report about it. The Navy decided to keep quiet, and the photos only came out years later when someone leaked them anonymously. An investigator later gave an interview where he claimed that even the officials didn't respond to his queries, which even makes this whole thing more suspicious.
Any idea, Alex, who took the photographs?
So far, none. Part of this idea was to get this as public as possible, and hopefully somebody would come forward with a little more info. And actually, the Admiral was actually gracious enough that he agreed to take a look at the pictures if we sent it to him by email. So I'm still kind of, have some hopes on that front. But as of right now, I'm just trying to track down the rest of the crew, and hopefully someone can come forward.
There was a lot of chatter going on. Were these secret Soviet tech experiments, or could it be something from beyond our planet? Whatever happened above the ice that day, the official records don't reflect it, but the photos still circulate, chilling and unanswered. Back in 1997, deep in the South Pacific, researchers picked up a mysterious sound that has experts scratching their heads. It was called the bloop and was even louder than a blue whale, traveling over 3,000 miles underwater. The blue whale is known as the loudest animal on Earth, with its calls blasting up to 188 decibels. NOAA's super-sensitive hydrophones picked up this low-frequency noise that sounded like a booming organic growl that got higher in pitch. It was like something alive, but no one could figure out what kind of sea creature could make a noise that big. You gotta check this out. People started tossing out all kinds of wild theories. Some were claiming it was just ice moving around, while others were suggesting it might be a sea monster lurking beneath the surface. For what it's worth, these creatures are thought to be real and are way bigger than our whales, but nobody has actually seen one yet. NOAA later suggested that the sound was caused by glaciers, but some people were skeptical about it and thought that explanation was a bit too convenient. One NOAA tech even said privately, "If it's biological, it's something we've never seen before. Whatever made the bloop was massive, and we haven't heard anything like it since." Back in 1978, the USS Stein, which is a Knox-class destroyer escort, came back to port with its sonar dome all messed up. It wasn't any coral or enemy fire that did it. Something had scratched at the ship from underneath the Pacific Ocean.
We noticed that there were some quite long scratches starting from the front and the side.
While checking things out in dry dock, Petty Officer Ira Carpenter stumbled upon something pretty unsettling. There were deep 4-foot gashes across the sonar dome, and in the ripped rubber, he found what looked like claws, like small alligator claws.
And it looked to me like it was a claw. And I quipped to my SW officer at the time. I said, look here, it looks like we have been attacked by a bunch of small alligators.
But here's the thing. Gators don't exist in seas, so a naval biologist looked over the stuff and confirmed that the damage wasn't caused by any sea creatures we know about. The objects embedded in it looked like hooks or curved teeth, similar to what colossal squid have, but they were way bigger than any we've ever seen.
I think that it must be from a squid because squids do have claws or hooks similar to this. Nothing else that is known in the ocean has structures of this kind. This doesn't rule out something that we haven't found yet, because undoubtedly there are creatures in the sea that are not yet known to science.
Naval engineers were confused too, since the size of those sucker marks pointed to an organism over 150 feet long, much bigger than even the largest giant squid ever recorded. Rumors spread quickly. Sailors thought it might be sea monsters, something like the Kraken. Meanwhile, bystanders were murmuring about all kinds of creatures we haven't even found yet. There was no official explanation. Stein returned to duty, but many believe it survived a brush with something we're not supposed to know about. Back in June 2011, the Ocean X diving team spotted something weird on their sonar. A 200 feet wide object was sitting 300 feet down in the Baltic Sea. It looked like a crash site. The structure was circular with symmetrical edges, grooves, and something that looked like stairs, which was unlike anything geologists had seen. There were drag marks behind it, almost as if it had slid across the sea floor before coming to a stop. Sonar experts were puzzled. Some thought it might be a glacial deposit, while others believed it could be a World War II wreck. But the perfect symmetry and strange angles really got UFO enthusiasts excited. As the divers moved in closer, they started running into strange electrical problems. Cameras suddenly stopped working, and the lights just went out. Even the skeptics on the team were left totally speechless.
I really couldn't imagine, because I have been the team's biggest skeptic. I was kind of prepared of finding just a stone. For me, it has been an amazing experience, I must say.
To this day, no one has fully explored or figured out what's going on there. Whatever's down there definitely doesn't seem to belong, and we're only halfway there. The next stories are darker, deeper, and even harder to explain. Keep watching, because what's coming next changes everything you thought you knew about the deep. Off the coast of Yonaguni, Japan, some divers found a mysterious underwater structure that looked like it was built on purpose, with terraces, stairways, and pillars all carved out of solid rock and sitting just over 80 feet deep in the ocean. Some people say it's an ancient city swallowed by rising seas, maybe even part of the legendary Lemuria. Others believe it's just a natural formation, but there are plenty of features that make you question that. We're talking right angles, massive stone platforms, and what looks like carvings in the stone. Marine geologist Masaki Kimura has spent years looking into this place and thinks it could be over 10,000 years old, way older than any known civilization. While skeptics argue it's just nature at work, anyone who's explored its passageways feels it was made by someone. One diver mentioned how everything was perfectly symmetrical and said there's no way those stairs could be natural.
仲間のダイビングインストラクターと一緒に休みを使っていったのがきっかけですね。自然にできたものとは思えないような平らな地形があったりとかして圧倒されましたね。こんだけ平らなものとか直角な壁を見るとどうしても自然にできたものとは思えないで、これをどうやって作ったんだろうとか。
If it turns out to be man-made, we might need to rethink history. If it's not, then nature's hiding something pretty strange down there. Back in 2018, in the deep, dark ocean, a robot camera was quietly filming the water when something long and snake-like slid past the lens. It was massive and shadowy. Moments later, two glowing lights appeared in the distance. The camera's flash kicked in, lighting up the scene just enough to catch a glimpse of a huge creature that looked like Triton, the sea god from old myths. But just like that, the mysterious beast vanished back into the darkness, almost as if it realized it was being watched and wanted to stay hidden. That's the part that sticks with everyone. Experts tried to give some explanations, but none of them could satisfy whoever watched it. Some of these mysteries might stay buried forever, but others might resurface when we least expect them. If you want more stories like these, subscribe and stay close, because the next dive might be even stranger.